Hello everyone. Today we're going to make this card. I love this card. I just think it's so adorable. And I actually got inspiration for the background of this card from a very unlikely place. I got it from this tissue box, the design on this tissue box. So it's not exact, but it was my inspiration, and this is my interpretation of it. This. Ta-da! So to start off, we're going to use a piece of Crumb Cake cardstock cut at 5.5 by 11 or by 8.5 and scored at 4.25. The sets that I used were the mixed bunch from the current Occasions Mini, and then also Itty Bitty Bits set. So I stamped using these two stamps. I did those in the Regal Rose ink pad, and I just did 2 of the big ones and then 4 of the smaller ones. And then I used the early Espresso, and I inked this one up, and I did just a line here. So I'm going to use the dotted scallop edge border punch. And to do this, I'm actually, when you look at it, you see where the metal begins on the bottom platform. So this top part, there's like the metal. I'm going to line these edges up to that so that I'm not going to cut it all the way through. And I'll show you what it looks like right now so you get a better idea of what I'm talking about. So I don't want to cut it all the way through because I want to leave this piece on. If you go all the way through, you're going to cut this piece off and there's no reason to do it. But I liked how it was like that. Like that. You see how it's lined up to that little metal edge? Alright, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to punch that out. So it left that edge. And you're just going to keep on using this as your guide. And I hope I caught that on camera, but using these dotted edges as your guide. You'll line what you've already punched up to those dotted edges. Alright, I think it's just a little bit off. It actually came out close enough. Now that I've got that done, I can finish the pearls, and I also used the liquid pearls. This was from Michael's. And this color is Rouge, and I put a dot there. See? And I'm going to dot the centers of these buds, these blossoms, and you don't need to worry about this one because this one gets covered. I'm going to do some pearls, the white ones for you, and then I'm going to do the red ones. And I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, so I finished those, including the ones with the Rouge liquid pearls. Okay, so this is the Blushing Bride piece, and this is cut at 1.5 by 5.5, and I actually already ran it through my Big Shot using the Textured Impressions embossing folder, the Adorning Accents, this cute little heart one. And there's a little space on top, and I like it that way because I'm going to tie the black taffeta ribbon around it. I also used 2 pieces of chocolate chip cardstock, and I already did the scalloped dotted ribbon border punch. Used a piece of chocolate chip cardstock and made 2 of those, and these are 5.5 inches in length. So what you're going to do is adhere these 2 pieces to the back of the Blushing Bride piece. Okay, now for the top piece, I am going to go ahead and put it so that you can see the top line of dots. The bottom piece, I'm only going to have the scallops showing, and I'll do my best to show you how it looks when I'm done. You probably want to flip it over so that you can see it, see what you're doing. Alright, so for the top part, which the top part of the blushing bride piece is the blank part that you didn't run through the folder. Anyways, this is the part where the ribbon is going to go, and you're going to want that to be on the top of the card. And it'll look like that. Okay, so as you can see, I put that dotted scallop ribbon border edge so that you can see the little dots at the top. And you're going to take the other one and roll some adhesive on it. And you just want the scallops to show on that one. So again, flip it over. And you're going to cover the dots this time and leave the scallops peeking up at the top. Perfect. Now I got this idea, a little bit of it. She didn't do a ribbon, but from Chicken Scratch. She's got a YouTube channel, so you might want to check her out. But this is sort of her idea. I did this a little bit different than she did, and I left a space for my ribbon. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is take some of your black taffeta ribbon. And you're going to do it, tie it off to the left side, close to the left edge. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Alright, so then the next couple of pieces that I used, or that I worked with, were the Blushing Bride, and I punched it out using the word window punch. I punched out a piece of chocolate chip, and it's got all my dimensionals on it, on both the back and the front, and I did that with the modern label punch. This is a piece of Calypso Coral Baker's Twine, and I stamped this, before I punched this piece out, I stamped this So Sweet, which you can see a little bit. So, this is the Hostess set that you can still get from the Occasions Mini, and I took this stamp, and I didn't use this whole image. I just with the blushing or the Regal Rose Stampin' Write marker, excuse me, and the early Espresso Stampin' Write marker, I colored these images in, or these words in, and how I did it was just like this. So I just took the Regal Rose and I just colored it in real well with the Regal Rose, and then I did a thump technique with the early Espresso, and I just took it and kind of thumped in a few spots on the So Sweet over the Regal Rose. And this is what I got, and then I punched it out. You really can't really see that, but when you do it yourself, you'll see it. So I punched it out with the word window punch, and then I took some basic pearls, the smallest ones. There are 6, you might want to use 5, 4, more or less. So then I made the bow, this pretty bow with the Baker's Twine, the Calypso Coral Baker's Twine. Adhere those two pieces together, and the reason I did it like this, you can see I'm keeping that twine in place by kind of staggering the dimensionals. And just kind of position your ribbon, your bow, Baker's Twine, however you like it. Alright. Pick a spot on your card that you like and adhere that to the front. There's the front. So pretty. Okay. Okay, so the next thing I did was these on both corners. So what I did was I took a bright kind of hot pink or whatever color this is Sharpie marker, and I colored in the Rhinestones. I colored in 4 of them, and I don't know how well that's picking up. You can kind of see there's a difference between the ones I didn't color in and the ones I did. I did 3. I'll show you the 4th one. So you'll just color it in just directly with the Sharpie. Take it and color it in. Alright, so then it's a little crooked, but that's what that will look like. Pretty? Taking another piece of the Blushing Bride, and this piece is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I used the Regal Rose and Crumb Cake ink. So I used the Crumb Cake first, and you can't really see that. You can a little bit. You can right there a little bit. Alright, so take the Big Blossom stamp, this one, and stamp it down in a couple of spots, which is here, 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 and here on this piece, with the Crumb Cake, and then go back over it and sort of stagger stamp it using the Regal Rose ink. So actually you can see that a little bit when it's a little further away. So there's the Crumb Cake ink and the Regal Rose and Crumb Cake, and so on and so forth. Alright, and then run it through your Big Shot with the Petals-a-Plenty textured embossing folder. Next, I took a piece of Very Vanilla, which is measured at 3.5 by 4, and I ran it through using the Texture Impressions Designer frames. So it's the square one, this one, and I just positioned it so that it was just on the corner, like that. And I ran it through, and then I also ran a piece of chocolate chip through it, and then I cut the center out using a straight edge blade, which looks like that. So I just went along the line and I cut the center out, and then I just cut around the outside of it, of the frame, and you can just basically follow the raised part of it. So then what I'll do is glue these 2 pieces together. Okay. Alright, and I stamped it using this Thanks stamp from the Thank You Kindly stamp set, which has a couple of different thank yous. I inked that stamp up really well in the Regal Rose, and then I rock and rolled it in the early Espresso. So I used the scallop trim corner punch, and I only scallop trim corner punched these 3 corners. I left this one unpunched. Okay, then using this flower stamp from the Itty Bitty Bits stamp set, I inked it up real well in the Regal Rose, stamped it off a little bit, and then rock and rolled it in the early Espresso and stamped it on the 3 corners. I took the Rouge Liquid Pearls, and then I put little pearls, and be careful when you do that it doesn't drip off. Now I'm going to let that dry, but I will explain. I just put some glue on the back of that, and what I'm going to show you is the finish. Alright, so you'll take it all the way to the top edge, and you'll just glue the whole thing down. And the reason for that is because if you take it to the bottom or take it and put it sort of in the middle, you'll be able to see this piece through here, and you don't want that because you want that little subtle effect of the pink in the background. So make sure you just glue it down all the way to the top, and you'll have it set. Then you can just write your message, and there's the card. I love this card. I'm super proud of it. I had a lot of fun. I hope you all had a lot of fun. Until next time, happy stamping!